you would have to grow that account 200%, 300%, 400%. You would have to make astronomical gains. And is it possible? Yes, there are some people that do it, but not consistently.
Hey trader, welcome back to another top tier interview. Brittany Hughes here, and I am here with one of top tier affiliates, and he drove all the way from Orlando to make it in for this interview. I'm here with Kyle Persaud, also known as Kyle Hustles, formerly known as
The Teenage Trader.
Okay, nice. Welcome to Top Tier Interviews.
Yes. I'm so excited to be here with each and every single one of you guys. Top Tier has been a great community, and I look forward to continuing to learn more from all these successful individuals that I'm around right now.
I love that. I want to start off this interview with celebrating you. I think at the end of the day, being invited to come on Top Tier Interviews, you've had to reach a certain level of success. And so if you want to share one thing that you're proud of, one thing that you've accomplished, one thing that maybe you're working towards that you're excited about, I just want to give you your flowers before we dive in.
No, I appreciate that. First and foremost, a little bit about myself. I got started in trading when I was 15. So,
which is, we were just talking before this interview. That's actually crazy.
Yeah, like one of the biggest things I can, emphasize on people that are young right now is just find guidance and find mentorship and find the right mentorship. Make sure that you're listening to people. And when you're listening to people, make sure that they truly have the lifestyle and the results that you desire. Because if you listen to somebody or if you take the opinions of somebody, you're most likely accepting their lifestyle. So at a young age, I was taking in many opinions, but I said, let me start taking opinions from people who have the right lifestyle. And that's when I got into trading, right? I started seeing people on Instagram like Q, like Ryan, like Anthony, like all the people that are on Instagram doing it. I was like, man, there's really a way that you can make money by clicking buttons. I said, I'm going to put all my time and energy into this. Even when I was on the school bus, even when I was in class, nobody could tell me to take my eyes away from this, because once I saw that it was real, I said, I'm going to put all my time, focus, and energy into it. It took 8 months, 9 months, over and over and over again. But after 8 or 9 months is when I actually had my biggest month and had over 60K in 1 month of profit. And that was the biggest testimonial, because I was finally able to make pretty much what my teachers were making in a year in 1 month. So my whole perception of money completely changed. I was not focused on what the average people were doing. My mentor always told me to observe the masses and do the complete opposite. So that's exactly what I did. People are going to call you crazy, but the craziest ones are usually the most successful ones.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. We're just here a few things I want to point out from what you've just shared. One, I think we're here just to celebrate that journey. How old are you now?
I'm 21.
21 now.
Yeah.
Okay. And your highest withdrawal was, you said 60K?
60K in 1 month.
And how old were you when that happened?
16.
Which is just blowing my mind. So I want to back it up a little bit. When was your first exposure to trading? I know it was at 15, but how were you exposed to trading? Because at 15, I was working at a pizza shop, and I was that wasn't my reality. So I'm interested to know how you were exposed.
So there's so much access to information nowadays. Honestly,
Totally.
Information is overload. And I think the access to the right information can truly change your situation. So you have to ask yourself, what information are you consuming on a daily basis, whether it be the TV, whether it be the radio, whether it be social media. 90% of us here, if you look at our screen time, hours of the day is on Instagram, phone, or social media. So ask yourself, when you're on social media, are you being a consumer or are you being a producer, right? I was thinking about ways of, hey, I was on social media all day. I was on video games all day. How can I produce some money instead of just consuming, instead of these corporations just consuming more money away from me, right? Every single time I would get my paycheck, it would be $50, $100, and some of it would be consumed from me. But I figured out, hey, how can I produce like the people that were consuming from me? And that's what made me get into trading. When I saw that there were people actually producing money from their phones, not just going out there and working for it, right? There's a way where you can get information and use that information combined with technology with the right mentorship and actually make money by clicking buttons. When I saw that, there was nothing else you should focus on.
Yeah, game over. I mean, at that point, you're 21 now. You started when you were 15. That's 6 years ago. Now, 6 years ago, prop firms weren't as popular as they are now. You're 15 years old. Like, how did you have money to put into a broker and start trading?
You know, a lot of the times it was my last dollar, right? When you're 15, 16 years old, I mean, a lot of people have the decision when you're that young, when you start making money, to either go broke impressing people or go broke investing. And I decided, I wasn't going to go broke impressing. I was going to go broke investing, right? I didn't care if I had $0. I would pour money into trading every single week, every single month.
Did you have a job at that time though that was able to fund that stuff?
So I was actually working a job at Publix.
Okay.
I was the bagger, doing the bags. At the end of the day, you always might have to have something as an income to put money into trading.
Totally.
Because you always have to have a startup, right? You can never start trading with $0, right? You need to always have money to make money. So, I did have a job and I used to use my time to make money. But for all of you guys that are listening, if you're utilizing your time to make money, you need to start putting some of that money aside and eventually use that money to make more money.
So you said you were profitable around 8 months after. Did you find your edge rather quickly, or did you hop from strategy to strategy until one stuck?
Now, my story is that I learned a lot of strategies.
Okay.
I learned a lot of strategies with time. And, I tend to be the type of person where you have to make your own, right? You have to utilize a combination of different strategies and different confluences and confirmations to make a strategy that you're best comfortable with. Because you never really know exactly what somebody else is doing in trading, right? You may know, some of their fundamentals, some of their concepts of like what they're looking at and what times they're looking at. But when it comes time to actually execute, you're not there with them. So you can never actually know what they're doing. So I learned through failures. There's a reason why F comes before S in the alphabet, because failure has to come before success. Think about if you were to just become successful with no failures, you would never know, or you would never have the growing pains necessary to have the knowledge needed to handle that success. So, God puts you through certain chapters, life puts you through certain obstacles and failures to teach you how to handle certain success. So, yes, I did go through many failures, and that's how I learned to be where I am today. And every successful person is going to tell you that it's a lot of failures and you'll never know exactly what somebody's doing, but you have to keep that level head and you have to keep developing yourself daily, or else if you're not growing, you're dying.
And what type of trader would you classify yourself as? Scalper, intraday, swing?
Personally, I would say I wouldn't categorize myself in a single category.
Okay.
Because the market is ever so changing.
Sure.
And the conditions are ever so changing. Not every single time is going to be intraday setups. Not every single time there's going to be swing setups. And I'm the type of person where I need to be adaptable. You need to be able to adapt to the market and not only just look for swing trades, not only just look for scalps or short-term trades. Some of my short-term trades and scalps turn into long-term major swing trades.
Sure.
So you have to be able to manage your trades in a way where you can catch something on the intraday, but also be able to hold something for the swing. And that's the type of trader I am.
Okay.
I don't like to attach myself to a certain market or to a certain time frame. I'm going to be only scalping, or I'm only going to be swing trading.
Sure.
I'm going to hold my trades and keep my trade management plan the same always, no matter what the market is.
Okay.
And sometimes I catch swings, sometimes I catch scalps.
Okay.
Whatever the market gives me is what I take.
When you're looking at a chart, I want to talk strategy for just a little bit more. Well, do you trade technical, fundamental, or do you utilize both?
I use a combination of both.
Okay.
And I think everybody should be knowledgeable on both.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be a ground level, level knowledge, or an advanced knowledge, what you don't know is costing you millions of dollars right now. Whatever you don't know is holding you back from making millions of dollars and making profits that you could never imagine. So, I'm always studying fundamentals and I'm always studying technicals.
Okay.
It's never something that's set in stone. Like, you're a master at this now. It's a constant personal development. So I'm constantly studying my technicals and I'm constantly studying the fundamentals, and I'm staying on top of the game. I'm staying connected with people that are in circles that I can know what's going on in the financial markets, fundamental wise. But with technicals, I feel like if you're in the technical market and you're focusing on technical analysis, you need to focus on what you're doing. Whenever you need to learn about technical analysis or master your technical analysis, focus on exactly what you're doing. Whenever I'm technically marking up my charts or looking at my trades or looking at analysis or honing in on that part of my trading, I'm only focusing on my setups and my setups only and my analysis only. When it comes to fundamentals, it's a little bit different because you need to hear the opinions of other people in order to know the emotions of the market, know whether the masses are leaning towards one side. And it's powerful because if the masses are leading towards one side, you should probably lead towards the other side. So I like to use a combination of both.
Okay.
And in technicals, I listen to myself. In fundamentals, I still listen to myself, but you have to also hear the opinions of other people and do the opposite of it.
Oh, interesting. I just out of curiosity, because I love to hear there's so many different ways to look at a chart. And I think that's really, really one of my favorite things about it is that everyone trades differently. Everyone has the ability to trade differently, and they can all win at the end of the day. So I'm always really interested to hear how other people see the charts. And so when it comes to your A+ setups and when you're going to go mark up your charts to trade, what are you looking for? Like what is your A+ setup?
Number one is time, right? That's the first thing I'm going to look at is what time are we in the market, right? Is it my hours of operation? Every business has the hours of operation. And businesses that are open 24/7 are usually like fast food restaurants or low-end businesses.
Yeah,
so
that's a good point.
I'm not open 24/7 and I'm not trading 24/7. So I'm going to be like, all right, am I in my hours of operation? Number two, I'm going to look at price action. I'm going to look at the candlesticks. I want to see, is there a candlestick forming that confirms my bias? If I'm bullish, is there an engulfing that I can play the retest off of? If I'm bearish, is there an engulfing that I can play? That's simple candlestick price action. Number three is trend. I like to look at the trend. I need to know that I'm in the direction of the long-term macro trend. Number four is Wyckoff. I look at Wyckoff. So I need to know, am I in an accumulation cycle? Am I in the middle of an accumulation cycle? Am I just coming off of one? Am I still, in the midst of a trend? Or am I distributing? Is the market starting to reverse? Are we starting to start a new cycle? I need to know the cycle, where we're at in the Wyckoff cycles. And, one of the last things, I do look at a lot more things, but it's supply and demand.
Okay.
I need to see, am I entering in an area of supply? Am I entering in an area of demand, right? What is my risk to reward on this trade? Is this trade setup a good risk to reward? Even if it's a setup that I know is gonna take off, I need to also make sure, is the risk to reward in my favor? Is there liquidity in my direction? Right? These are all things that the more I see 3, 4, 5 of them aligning in one, that makes me more wanting to take that trade. If I only see maybe one or two, that's a setup where I might maybe hold off and hold my risk on that type of setup. But a setup where I'm seeing 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 confirmations, and you have multiple confirmations like that, that's when you know that it's time to be risk on and enter the market.
Okay, cool. And then when it comes to risk management, for me, for example, I've never had a problem with over leveraging. And I would say in my personal day-to-day life, when it comes to taking risks, I'm all for it. But when it comes to trading, I'm fairly risk adverse, which is very interesting, which has served me, especially in the beginning of my journey, because of course, you take L's, but I hear some stories of how much money people are losing at the start, and that just hasn't been the reality for me, gratefully.
Yeah.
But when it comes to risk management, I guess before you were profitable, how did that play a role in you
Yeah.
becoming profitable?
So, I heard this saying, and shout out to some of my circle that I hang around. My boy Skaggs and Abel. They always told me, if you cannot manage your money, you cannot manage your risk, right? If you always have to understand that, right? Risk management and money management fall like very close. If you can't manage your money, you can't manage the money in your bank account. You're not gonna be able to manage the money that's in your trading account.
Sure.
That
Yeah.
is the point of the line. And at the end of the day, everybody needs to understand that before you start going on and putting on big risk, before you going on and start putting on big investments, right? What do you do with your bank account before you start buying big cars, big house? You build a cushion so you can be able to properly purchase, to be able to
Sure.
properly invest. And I think what a lot of people are doing nowadays is they don't have that foundation. They don't have that cushion, right? They're just risking everything to make everything. And everybody out here needs to just take it slow, right? If you have a little money, invest what you have, risk what you have, not what you don't have,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you don't have the risk, or if you're taking a risk, or you're taking an investment, or you're taking a trade, and that trade is gonna absolutely ruin your day, then it probably should not be a trade that you should be in,
Mm-hmm.
right? Whether it be good or bad, because there'll be some times where you actually win on setups like those, and it'll be the best day of your life. But the days that you lose, it'll be the
The
worst, the
worst.
worst day of your life. So you have to stop yourself from that emotional swing up and down, and build enough knowledge, build enough cushion for yourself where you can trade and stay at a midpoint and not be experiencing these big swings
Mm-hmm.
in your accounts, right?
When it comes to like specifics, because the people who are tuning into this interview, there's a range. There's a range from and people who are going to be tuning in who maybe are just getting started in learning how to trade. Maybe they're funded through Top Tier right now, and they're tuning in just to drop in from nugget to hear nuggets and to extract the value. When it comes to the specifics, do you have a specific, like it has to be at least a 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 risk to reward before I go in, or do you
Yeah.
have a calculated stop loss every single time? Like, what does that look like for you?
Um, so I think a tool that everybody needs to use, and every new trader or professional trader needs to utilize, is an equity curve simulator.
Okay.
And
What is that?
I believe it's basically where you can enter in your account size, and you can enter in your trade risk to reward and how much trades you're taking. And basically what it's going to spit out an analysis of what your account would look like after 500 trades. Everybody's thinking
Interesting.
about a week or a month or 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Think about what would keep happening if I keep trading this strategy and risk to reward after 1,000 trades. What's going to happen? And a lot of times, if you simulate that, it's going to show you that the account is not going to be there anymore. But to be honest, with a 1 to 2 risk to reward is not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, I only do 1 to 3 risk to reward minimum, right? 1 to 3 risk to reward minimum. And that allows me to still be profitable even if I dip below 50% accuracy in my trading.
Okay.
Try to stay above it, but sometimes there are good months, sometimes there are bad months. And just like in any business, you have to account for expenses, you have to account for mishaps, you have to account for growing pains and mistakes that happen in your trading. So I always do 1 to 3 minimum. That's my set point with my trades, and I like to keep it at that.
Okay. Okay. Let's talk prop firms, because I know that you said that you are a fan of prop firms. And for me personally, I look at it as an invitation for traders to come in. Yes, there are a series of phases or tiers that you have to pass before you're actually funded. And then when you're funded, you have these parameters that you have to stay within. And I look at it as an invitation to just become a better trader. But what is your view on prop firms and how they've kind of transformed the space of trading?
I actually believe prop firms are changing the industry for the better. I think prop firms are here to stay, and they will continue to evolve, because when you're a new trader starting out and you only have $50 and you only have $100, in order to make $200, $300, some money that's actually worth it for yourself, you would have to grow that account 200%, 300%, 400%. You would have to make astronomical gains. And is it possible? Yes, there are some people that do it, but not consistently, not month to month, not week to week. You cannot sustain those gains forever. And that's a lesson that I learned, right? You can make big gains on small money, but can you do it over and over again? And prop firms are great because they're teaching people good risk management. If you lose more than 5% in a day on a hedge fund, they're going to completely cut you out. You're completely out of the game. And prop firms are good for doing that because guess what? They're not allowing the bad traders to continue, right? They're teaching you lessons of why you need to change in order to keep your account.
Yeah.
Right? So I think prop firms are great with setting these drawdown expectations and these profit targets expectations, because if you can't make 5 to 8% on an account without losing more than that, you probably shouldn't be trading anyways. You probably should get back to the books, find a mentor, find the guidance before you keep pouring money into something that you do not truly have the right information on.
That's a really, really good point. Again, people who are tuning into this are going to be at all these different levels. But if you could, let's say someone who's tuning into this interview right now and they are maybe paper trading. They're paper trading, they're working their way up to start trading live, to potentially invest into a challenge account. What are some pieces of advice, like some necessary pieces of advice that you would share with them as they're getting started?
Just get the challenge account. Just get an account, right? The biggest risk in life is not taking one. A lot of the times we set these limiting beliefs on ourselves that are not really there. A lot of times you think that there's something wrong with the markets. You think that it's the markets. You think it's the news. You think it's the broker. You think it's this. You think it's that. You know, ask yourself, what are you doing to get to the next level? And paper trading is great. Everybody, when I started trading, when I was 15, I started off with a demo account. I started off with a paper trading account when I first started off.
And how long did you have that account for?
I would say about a week. About a week. Because you know what? Successful people make decisions very, very fast and change their mind very, very slow. So if this is something that you truly, truly want to do, after a week, a month on the demo account, just so you can see blue, as soon as you see that blue and you see that you can do it yourself by clicking a button, you need to immediately get a challenge account, whether it be the lowest size available, right? I think what a lot of people are doing is they're waiting until, yeah, bro, I'm just going to wait till I can get this 100K account. No, go even just start out with the lowest size, scale up, get into the firm, build a relationship, and eventually get yourself to the 100K, 200K, 300K status. Don't be trying to go for, 300K off the bat.
Yeah.
Right? At least get some skin in the game. Even if you don't even know anything about trading, get the lowest account size possible and at least just get some skin in the game. Because if you don't pay attention.
That's a good point. That is a really good point. I will say I had an interview with one of Top Tier's funded traders. I think it was last month. And when it came to this question, and kind of he had a very, very similar outlook as you do. And he said, also, why don't you put, okay, you want a 100K account, however much a 100K account, let's say it's $500, right? Save up enough money to get an account size, no matter what it is.
Exactly.
Save up a little bit more money, put it in an actual live account. So when you're passing these prop firm challenges, you're also growing your own personal account.
Exactly.
Why are you trying to pass these prop firm challenges. Passing a prop firm challenge doesn't get any money in your pocket. It gives you a refund, of course. But other than that refund, you're trading and you're trying to pass this challenge for however long it takes you, because at this point it's unlimited. Why don't you put a little bit of money, 250, 500 into a live account, attach that copy trade from that challenge account, so you're also growing your own personal funds, and then you can use your own personal funds to then buy a new challenge account.
Exactly. That is a great method right there, because you know what that'll teach you? If you're passing challenges, you're growing your capital, you're growing your money, you're gaining percentage. And if you're blowing challenges, then that will teach you and that will show you what you're really doing wrong. He has skin in the game. He has more skin in the game than most people would.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I would recommend it, because guess what? If you're really all in on something, why wouldn't you put more skin in the game? Why would you wait? Why would you wait if you're eventually going to do it?
Yeah. Yeah. As a trader, and I know it's a solo sport. It starts off as a solo sport, and I think eventually you open yourself up to being a part of different communities, obviously top tier communities. People form their own communities, and I think it's really valuable in learning and gaining insight when it comes to maybe psychology and risk management. But what would you say the importance of community plays in trading, and how there's a fine line? There's a fine line.
No, there is a fine line. I'm going to be honest, yes.
Sure.
But community is everything, right? Especially, I want you guys to understand that it takes a village to raise a successful individual. It's not just one person and one mentor as well. And it's also, your success is due to the people that you surround yourself with. You are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with.
Sure.
So you can be a trader and you could be good at trading, but if your friends are unsuccessful people and you're hanging around with people that are not on that same mindset, eventually you will be slapped right back down to that frequency, to that lower energy. So it's great to be in communities, be in as many communities as possible. The top tier community is great because you get to hear and learn from successful individuals daily. One of the key things that contributed to my success was following success daily, right? Everybody that you see that's successful in trading, follow them, watch them, study them. And if you do what they do, say what they say, eventually you can have everything that they have. And that's exactly what I did. Instead of going into the clubs in high school, instead of going into these groups in high school, instead of going to the parties, instead of going to the clubs, I went ahead and joined communities. And some of the times you're going to have to pay for these communities. Some of the times you're going to have to pay your entrance way to get in. But once you get in, the amount of resources, knowledge, and experience that you can gain is way more than the money that you invested. And guess what? That community is people that can hold you accountable, that daily you guys are going to grow. So communities is great. It's the only reason I'm here. So join successful communities, be around these people daily, get on the calls, get on the webinars, get on the YouTube videos. And you almost sort of have to brainwash yourself for success. We're being brainwashed daily with the TV that we watch, with the ads, everything, with the billboards, with the radio.
Social media.
It's your subconscious mind that they're attacking, right? With the little subconscious hints in the TV ads that program you in a certain way. So sometimes you have to reprogram yourself and completely just plug in the earphones and listen to success and watch success. And these communities have successful people that are giving you their time, that are giving you their energy. So it's a pleasure that you need to be there.
Yeah. I say fine line because it sometimes, especially with trading, you can't allow the opinions of others to change your bias. When it comes to, I'm sitting down on a chart and now I have the noise. There's a fine line between the noise of the community and then also being able to utilize it to your advantage, to learn more, to grow more, to have your circle of influence elevate. And so for those individuals who are trading alone right now, again, I think that's a really great opportunity for you to develop your own confidence and your own knowledge with yourself while you're trading, but also to your point, join a community, because the more that you elevate yourself around the right people who think the same as you, who are trying to also elevate their own lives when it comes to this field of trading, it's really, really valuable. But also walk that fine line and be confident in your own bias when it comes to the charts.
Yes.
Kyle, this has been really, really great. I want to ask you one final question when it comes to I'm still just so amazed that, y'all, at 15, I was working at a pizza shop. At 21, I was stumbling down the sidewalks after a late night out.
Yeah.
And so whenever I'm able to have conversations with people who are younger than me and who have been in this game for also longer than me, like it's really, really awesome. So you're young. When it comes to your future vision that you have for yourself pertaining to trading and also your involvement with Top Tier, what does that look like?
I am going to continue trading for the rest of my life. Yes, there's other things that you can go out there and do, but I feel like once you find something that you truly love, that you truly like, you never actually work a day in your life. This is why people you see grinding hard at certain companies or successful things, people call them crazy, but they're just simply doing what they love. And I love trading. I will continue to trade and help other people get onto trading, get onto prop firms, get onto this knowledge. I mean, the masses are over here sports betting, throwing their money into drinks, parties, gambling, smoking, drugs. But if you were to take that same knowledge, that same money, that same person, and put them in the right community with the right environment and with the right prop firm like this, you can truly change your life. And that's what I'm going to continue to do. I'm going to continue to trade, teach people, and build other businesses and companies that are going to help people, right? Not just businesses and companies that are going to take from people, right? Businesses and companies that people can produce, but also go out there and build their own business.
Sure. Kyle, thank you so much for joining us for this Top Tier interview. Where can people find you online?
You guys can check me out on Kyle Hustles on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, everywhere.
Okay. Nice. Thank you so much for joining us
Thank
today.
you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
Let's
Thank
go.
you all for tuning in to another episode of the Top Tier Interviews. Be sure to subscribe to the actual Top Tier YouTube channel and like this video. By subscribing, you'll be notified of whenever we post a new interview. They drop every single Friday, and if you can't tell by now, we have some really amazing guests who are just dropping nuggets of knowledge for you to help you no matter which part in your journey you're on. So thank you so much, Kyle, and we'll see you guys next time.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get it. Top tier to the moon, guys. With all these other prop firms going down, this is the wave. You guys need to hop on before it's too late. Let's get it.
Thank you. Bye, guys.